So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
Ladies, gentlemen, pike species of a spicy age, welcome to Hell of a Pilot episode 40?
Yeah, that's 40.
Yeah, 40! Gets it right first time!
Yes! And we've moved into a new decade.
Yeah, a new decade.
My decade.
Your decade?
Yes.
Well, we're going to have... I'm just going to make a joke about like a midlife crisis.
I had that already.
You had that already?
Yeah, been and done.
I was going to say I want to buy a new car, but that's nothing special.
No, my midlife crisis was buying an X-Wing set.
Oh, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Also, saying that you can identify the middle of your life implies that you know exactly when you're going to die. So I say just behave however you want all the time forever.
I like that philosophy.
Behave the way you want until you hit 60, then act erratically, then say it's a midlife crisis, live to 120, got it.
Yep.
Well, scientists say the first person to live to 200 has already been born.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. There's going to be, like, medicine and stuff.
Technological advances.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to be 200.
And by then we'll be up to third edition of X-Wing.
Third edition of X-Wing and episode 3000.
With episodes from the third set of sequels.
No, I've been listening just back and forth on random podcasts of just different things, and they say, well, welcome to episode 390. And I'm like, how do you remember that?
Yeah.
At what point do you just go, welcome to this episode?
They probably have things like show notes.
Yeah, probably. They're probably more organised than us.
Remember, we used to actually, in the early days, we did do show notes.
When we were young and naive, and
That's
you just
right.
hang out, just chill out and record things.
Honestly, I think we used to do the show notes because we still were figuring out the format. Like the shows used to have a lot more segments in it, but then we figured out, okay, talk about this for a bit, then talk about that for a bit, then stop. Now we don't need to make notes.
Yeah, I think we actually became just more professional. We don't need those props.
Some would call it lazy. We would say more professional. Mike,
Yes,
we're at your house.
as always.
As always.
And I'm at my house as
you
always.
You are. Lockie, what's on the show?
Tonight we're going to look back at first edition a little bit. Some of the stuff that we loved from that. Maybe some of the stuff that we're glad is disappearing. And we're going to look forward to 2.0 a little bit. Stuff that we are excited for. And we're doing this because this is our final episode before second edition comes out.
So
Mike, do you still have like those party poppers?
Oh, I have
that
to,
would
I
have
have
been
to have
great.
a look. So we are officially a week away from second edition being given to us for all of us who made pre-orders and did all that kind of stuff. So
that's exciting.
We didn't all get to go to Gen Con.
No,
yeah, that's weak.
Boo.
Boo,
not cool.
Where is Gen Con?
America somewhere.
God, I need to go there one day.
Yeah.
1 week away, and is anyone lining up? Is a midnight release a thing for board games? I don't know. Is it?
I don't think so.
Probably
Like-
about maybe a 10 a.m. release.
10 a.m. release when the store owner lazily walks in. It's like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, a Thursday is probably a really good. Like, bosses know that if you have a sick day on a Monday or a Friday, you're probably not sick. Or if there's a really highly publicized sporting event in your city and you call in sick that day, you're probably not sick. But I reckon most bosses don't know about X-Wing, and the fact that it's launching on a Thursday, you'd probably get away with a sickie. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right. No, listen.
Yeah.
We live in Melbourne,
Yeah.
and I do believe next Friday is a public holiday.
The 28th is public holiday, not the third. Not
the 13th. Damn!
Yeah. For the 14th. Yeah. So no, we can. No. Well, actually, no. That's good because not that we're
Doesn't look suspicious.
Not that we're advocating that you do anything to jeopardize your job, but just take the day off.
Yeah, we're not saying you should do it. We're just saying you would definitely get away with it with no consequences.
In terms of probability.
And just saying, it's an option, you know?
You have free will. Exercise
All right.
it.
So, did we say what we're doing on the show?
A retrospective?
Retrospective.
Retrospective and a futurespective.
A wistful look backwards at our past, longingly, and also angrily, and into the future. Also.
So this is the hell of a pilot equivalent of Luke standing on Tatooine and staring into the twin sun and going, "Oh, my eyes!"
Oh, my eyes.
Thinking of, so you just say looking back angrily. Ever since thinking about, like, lately I've been thinking about second edition and first edition, and the song like "Don't Look Back in Anger" has been stuck in my head. Like,
look,
there was stuff that was bad about first edition, but don't look back in anger.
Yeah. Look, without first edition, we wouldn't have second edition. So
I guess that's how it works.
They could have really shooken things up and just go, "We're just jumping straight to 4th edition. We're just skipping over 2 and 3.
Do like a Windows and skip over 9 and go straight to 10.
I was going to say that. That's not just Windows, though, is it? There's been a couple of companies that have
Actually,
just skipped 10.
hasn't Apple skipped a number?
Yeah.
It was bizarre. Okay.
This is actually Hell of a Pilot episode 60.
We're just making up numbers at this point.
You're doing the law section.
I am doing the law section, and any incredible people who are very smart might have picked up on what I'm doing already.
Oh.
Ooh.
Some of the pikes.
Yes, the pikes. They're spicy.
Okay.
I'm not smart, so tell me what we're talking
about. The Pikes, the leader of the Pike Syndicate is a complete drug addict, and he holds drugs in his belt.
Awesome.
And the drugs happen to be spice.
Awesome.
So he's a spicy boy.
Yeah.
We're gonna do drugs, and not in like a demeaning, hey, drugs are cool. But we're just gonna have an objective look at what is inside the Star Wars, I don't know, paraphernalia of drugs, medical and non-medical.
So what is spice, what is stims, and...
Yeah, what is spice, Bacta, all that good stuff.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know anything about this stuff, so I'm cool.
Okay,
let's on with the show.
Oh, Mr. Mackey. Good day, citizens, and welcome to Holinet News. In tonight's broadcast, an update on your empire's war on crime. Every day, more Imperial narcotics agents are being deployed to the Outer Rim to investigate and curb production of dangerously addictive glitter stim. This illicit substance is consumed in vast quantities by irresponsible residents on the fringes of space who don't realize that to get really high, all you need is a big dose of the Emperor's benevolence, which is much healthier for you and is also completely free after you've paid all your taxes. Unfortunately, rumors persist that glitter stim, taken in the right situation, can cool one under pressure and change the results of a situation. But in reality, while it does change your eyes, it also enriches criminals and warlords who profit from its manufacture and sale. That's right, Glitbiters. In the long run, glitter stim is definitely more for scum than for Imperials, and deep down, we think you know that. This news isn't all bad, though. Some narcotic special agents believe that glitter stim could soon be a thing of the past. Preliminary reports in the first edition of the Imperial Narcotics Task Force public logs suggest that although illicit substances will still be accessible by the public, glitter stim itself will be out of circulation by the end of next week. Will it ever surface again, either as we currently know it or in some other diluted form? To know that for sure, we'll just have to see what transpires in the second edition. If you wish to be a responsible citizen and do your part in making this prediction a reality, please render any assistance asked of you by a narcotics agent. These agents may be in disguise or using an assumed name. You may think this makes such agents difficult to trust, but we say they're far more trustworthy than rebels. A fake name is one thing, but they have ships named after letters that don't even exist in our alphabet, and if you think about it, that makes no sense at all. What kind of stim are they on? This is Holonet News.
Oh, that's hilarious! Oh, I did not... It's... Oh, what? Oh. What's... You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That makes no sense.
Yeah, in the Star Wars alphabet, which I think they call the Aurebesh or something, there's no X, there's no Y, there's no U, there's no V, there's no A, there's no B.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Their letters are like triangles and stuff.
Oh, that is so funny. Well done.
Thank you.
Just that was a good joke.
So, I mean, I know what I said before in the beginning, but Owen did actually tell me that he was going to be talking about glitter stim today, which is how Owen, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad I told the audience that we're doing drugs. Not that we're doing drugs, but we're doing drugs. Okay, Cheryl, kicking this off, Lockie, after that amazing joke, I do believe you get to go first.
All right. Well, one thing I wanted to mention was, I know we normally name drop in the shout outs at the end, but a few days ago, I'd put a post out saying to people, hey, if you wanted to send us a video that just quickly describe something you loved in first edition and something you're looking forward to in second edition, send it to us and we'll compile them and put them up. We actually only got one response to that, which, look, that's fine.
Shame on you, audience.
But here's the thing. You can usually download videos from Facebook, but obviously Facebook has changed, and the video that our friend Brian Collis sent us, I actually couldn't download it from Facebook, but thanks for doing that, Brian. And
Thank you.
he said that something that he loves, that he's looking forward to in second edition, is to fly ships that he likes, not the ships that you have to fly just to be able to compete.
Amen.
And something that he's loved about X-Wing in general is the X-Wing community has been really welcoming to both him and his son. And yeah, the X-Wing community is by and large pretty great. So
Yeah.
Agreed.
okay, so something that I really loved in first edition was janky combos. Which
That was your thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
X-Wing combos did bother a lot of people. They bothered me as well. The ones that like exploited a loophole ended up being really too powerful. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is figuring out a thing that's like we talk about lists, ships that have synergy, that work well together. What I used to like to do was find something that like passed the minimum threshold to counter synergy and fly that. And that was something I really loved doing. Like I had a list that flew Stress Ezra paired with Captain Rex with the illicit slot and black market slicer tools. And so Ezra is stressing the enemy, so I have control over when they're stressed. And then Rex is using his action to potentially do damage to them. And I still remember a game which, I lost the game, but I was able to kill a TIE defender without, not by rolling damage on it. Basically just declaring it as the target of the attack, making it stressed, not doing any damage, but then Rex would just come along and roll damage, so killed the defender without shooting it, which was kind of interesting. And the Rebel TIE in second edition doesn't have the crew slot or the illicit slot.
Yeah.
So the way it functions is going to be a little bit different, because Courier Droid doesn't exist in second edition. It's one of those cards that it was neither here nor there. It basically just counted as chaff in the end that's been culled for second edition, and that's fine. But being able to deploy a PS4 ship, a PS8, was handy. But yeah, anyway, that was one kind of thing.
Yeah, but I used to always enjoy, because Lachlan and I would sort of play on a semi-regular basis, and I'd always enjoy, you'd turn up and you go, oh, I've got this new list, and you'd pull out this kind of, I don't know, odd assortment of ships and cards and kind of lay them all out, and I go, I don't know how this works, and next thing you know, I'm stressed and I'm flown off the board. So it was all, I always enjoyed that, appreciate it. I mean, I actually, us playing those lists and just dissecting what worked and didn't work. Actually, one of my favourites, I think, was the when using the ARC 170 to give out target locks everywhere. So that was good. That was actually a good list. It was,
I did sometimes enjoy the look on someone's face when I could tell I'd made them slightly uncomfortable when they would look at a list and be like, "Oh, so is there a theory to this list?" I'd be like, "Yeah, maybe."
Let's see if that plays out.
It depends what you mean by theory.
I do. Just speaking of jank lists, I know I hark on about him all the time, but I loved Palob in the whole game. Just loved him. He was just the funniest. And when you have him with Manaru, old Manaru. So I'm talking about
pre-nerf Manaru
in all her golden glory.
With infinite reach across the universe.
Yeah, it was great. Thinking back of the old days, I remember coming up against someone who'd never seen it before, and I wanted to see how much focus I could possibly get without taking a focus action. Turns out about 7. Because it would go... it would be Palob would show up, and as long as you have the timing right and you're not going second, Palob would show up, and that all happens at the start of the shooting phase. You go up, you would steal a token you could do everything except take a focus action, whatever you wanted to do, because whoever. You'd steal a focus action. That would then give everyone a focus, and everyone would get a focus because of the ability
Mind link.
Yep. And then I do believe Manu would give off the focus that she had and then generate another one. So, yeah, that's how it went. Yeah, she'd give off another one, and then because someone would have acquired a focus, it didn't say have to take the action. If you acquire a focus, when Palob got a focus from someone else and then got one from her, he would have 2, she would have 2 or 3, and the other person would have whatever they had. Because why not? And I remember playing someone, and the look on their face was just like, this is what this game is. And I'm like, yep, this is how we play the game.
Yeah.
I can't, sorry if I've mentioned this before, but I liked this list that I saw once, and I was playing against Zach, who listens to our show. I was playing against him, and he'd come up with a Palob with Auto Blaster Turret and the Opportunist EPT.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
Yeah, so if you got into range 1 of his Palob and you had a focus token, he would take it from you, which meant Opportunist could trigger because you didn't have a token anymore. Yes. And then he could then shoot you with 3 unblockable damage.
Yes.
There was a great one that was I don't know, it might have been Pale, might have been someone else, because he could take the ability to just cancel all dice results and add 2 hits. And it would be Auto Blaster Turret. So you just roll up. Doesn't matter where you were. If they were in range 1 of you, they take 2 damage. The end. It was great. Mike?
Oh, so much to think about. I've always had a preference for flying aces. That's what got me into the game. I just liked the pure dogfighting aspect of the game. That's when I found myself happiest. And I would have to say the thing that probably brought me the most joy was a 2 green K maneuver on Countess Ryad with a barrel roll, a push the limit, and a focus. The look on people's faces, because they're always expecting the 4K, but when you go, I'm going to do a 2K.
This is why TIE Defenders don't have modification slots in 2nd edition.
Yes.
Because you people do not need afterburners.
Sad face. But yeah, look, I tell you what, I think, actually, probably when I think about it is probably the most memorable things. It wasn't the game so much that I won, it was the flying against somebody else, and it was like ace versus ace. I remember a couple games where I had this magnificent game between myself, Ryad, and somebody who was flying Sunta Fell, and we fought for half an hour and we declared a draw because it was just,
This is the game that doesn't end.
And that game wouldn't have ended. I mean, sort of all the rest of it. But I tell you what, it was just probably that, and probably that moment when I got that when I got that expansion, I opened up the box and this shiny little red defender came out, and I was just like, that's.
God, when that box came out, I think the X-Wing community broke.
It became the TIE Defender community.
Yeah, it did.
I can't just that was actually probably when we think back to 1.0, I think there are a few milestone moments. The TIE Defender and the Jump Master, if we think about the X-Wing 1.0.
Yeah.
There's a few other things like
there
the
was
TIE
the Jump
Phantom.
Master series, and there was the Defender series. Oh, I remember going to one
those,
tournament.
And they shaped the game in fundamental ways.
I remember going to one tournament, and it was, I swear, like 70% Defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, if you weren't taking Defenders, you weren't winning.
Yeah.
There was the Brobot period as well.
Yes.
Oh, that was cool.
Which Brobots, I always struggled against those. I thought, actually...
Did you?
Yeah, and I've also never killed a Shadowcaster.
Oh.
No, I have. I've killed one. I've killed one Shadowcaster because I've came across 3. 2 of them wiped me immediately. The third one,
Look, it's funny that because I actually got a Shadowcaster, I never really flew it. Not because I didn't like it. It was just I never played Scum. So
I did like the Shadowcaster, the very brief Shadowcaster meta where it was one Shadowcaster and then as many Z95s with missiles you could take.
Oh, see, that's cool.
It's between, I think it was 3. Yeah. And it was like, the Shadowcaster, because no one knew how to fight against a Shadowcaster at the time, they'd roll up, throw you onto a rock, reduce your agility, and hit you with 4 red dice and be like, bugger.
I think it was a ship that was deceptively. Like, when I first came across them, I was like, oh, it's a big base ship.
It's fast.
It's fast,
yeah.
but also it's actually harder to kill than you think. The first time I was like, oh, just roll up and shoot at it. And it was like,
it's another party bus, except this one has a turret. No.
Yes.
Alright,
No,
so
it isn't.
You guys talking about expansion packs that shaped things.
Yes.
Now, the K-Wing was notorious for being the pack that introduced the TLT.
True.
Now, I put a poll on the Facebook page about a week ago that said, vote here. If a version of TLT comes into second edition, do you think it'll be a problem? Because in second edition, it would be a single rotating arc only, and the points could vary. Did you look at the result of that?
I did not... my Facebook this week has been absolute garbage, and I couldn't vote or see the results.
Okay. So, do you want to guess?
50-50, down the line, 100%.
I'm going to say 80% against.
Every single time we do a poll, it's 50-50.
Well,
so, when against, what do you mean by against? You think people think TLT would be bad?
Yes, people think it'd be bad.
Okay, so 74 to 71.
I told ya!
Yes.
Down the line!
That's 51% to 49%. Our followers think TLT in second edition would be okay.
This is why I love our followers.
Which surprised me. I was honestly expecting more people to be against it, but TLT being acceptable in second edition, according to our followers, started winning and continued winning the whole time.
Were they Russian bots?
Oh, yeah.
We must fix TLT meta.
So yeah, honestly, I'm a little bit surprised about that.
We were talking before the show. For a little while, look, I don't think they were suppressive to the point where it made the game... They were just so damn annoying.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was just... And just... TLT on a souped-up Miranda, I think, was problematical. Because you had a regen ship which could drop a dice. So you're rolling 2 sets of dice.
Yeah.
I completely agree. That was a massive problem with Miranda. As much as I love Miranda,
I flew her heaps and I enjoyed her. But that was a problem, I would say, yeah.
So wasn't there a regen Corin Horn?
Yes.
Well, with R2-D2,
Yes.
R5-P9.
Yeah.
In that one Worlds, didn't it? One year?
No,
it came second.
Came
That's
second,
right,
so 2 years ago. So Brobots last year.
Yeah.
But I would hear people say that turrets weren't what the game was about. Turrets had been in the game since Wave 1 because the Y-Wing had the ion cannon turret. But that was, TLT was the first full, purely aggro turret. All it did was do damage.
Yeah.
And
boy howdy, it did damage.
Well, I mean, there was the blaster turret that came with the Hawk, but that didn't really get used because
it required to use
because the
focus.
thing when it came down to it, mathematically, the TLT was just so efficient.
1.53 damage.
Correct.
That's against a 2 green ship. It was 1.53, and that is a lot of damage.
That is. So you can pretty much guarantee at least 1 damage, and frequently get 2 with modifiers and all kinds of other things. So yeah.
Second edition, we got the dorsal turret, but that makes sense though. I mean, it's two red dice, 3 at range 1, rotating arc. I'm curious though whether that will get used more or less often than the ion cannon turret, because the ion's been kind of beefed up a bit. Reckon
it does
the
damage
ion coming back. Well, it always did damage.
Yeah, it did
and
1
it
damage.
still does 1 damage, but now you can peg a ship with multiple ion per attack.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
According to the dice roll. So that's how you get the larger base ships.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was always my problem. I was thinking ion wouldn't happen because people would just take large base ships and be like, well, I just have...
So now what happens is if you rolled against a large base ship, say 3 successful hits on your red dice, it doesn't matter if they all go through because it can only do 1 damage. Now, every point of damage the ship would receive, except for 1, becomes ion tokens.
So you could potentially ion on a large base ship with a...
No, because a large base ship requires 3, and I think the most damage that an ion can do is... Sorry, the most dice I think they can roll is 3, but I'll look that up. So that would be 1 damage and 2 ion tokens.
Oh, so for every damage over the first one does ion.
Yeah.
But you can effectively lock down a small base and medium base if you get to 1 or 2, depending on the ship.
If this attack hits, spend 1 hit or crit result to cause the defender to suffer 1 hit or 1 damage. All remaining hits or crits result inflicted. Okay, that's not wrong. So that's been interesting because that means that the ion cannon turret would be almost useless against aces, which was a good way to shut down aces before.
Well, yeah, that was you. The aces were supposed to in early game, probably before in early waves. The aces were supposed to really sweat because of the ion.
Yeah,
it was like later with things like the TLT, the aces fell out of favor because they couldn't arc dodge because the damage was everywhere 360 degrees.
Yeah.
That's also true of the ion cannon turret. But it wasn't that they were afraid of. It was the ion controlling their move that they were afraid of. Yeah.
But just the ion just wasn't as prevalent as TLT.
No. Later on, there was no point.
It was a bit of fun to have ion on small ships and just get a very cheap small ship and just lock down one of their expensive ships and walk it off the board. But that wasn't.
Whereas
in
iron,
ever.
But in terms of control, iron cannon was just much more effective. Because you put an iron cannon on, say, a defender, which could double tap with the tie D title. That was fun.
Are you saying that because I did that to you once?
You did that to me, yeah. you walked off my dash off the board once, yeah.
No, it was a ghost.
Oh, no, it was a ghost, yeah.
I never... what was it? Mainly when I flew Defenders, I like to fly generics in groups, and it was tie Ds with iron cannons, glaive squadrons is what I would do.
Yeah, because we used to call them the clever girls because they were raptors.
The raptors, yeah. So there was one game where Mike goes, "No, you don't need to have the rear-facing arc on the ghost. It's just a waste of points." And I got 2 defenders with iron cannons behind the ghost.
Yeah.
I just stayed there, walking the ship slowly off in a straight line, and later on it was like... probably chuck that rear arc on there next time. Yeah. The ion cannon is in a way better than the ion cannon turret because ion cannon turret's always been limited range 1 to 2, where ion cannon goes all the way to 3.
And same on this one?
Yeah, it's the weapons are virtually the same in first and second edition.
Cool.
But yeah.
Okay, shall we move on to what we're looking forward to in the future? Ooh, 1 week away.
Well, I'm really curious just to see, now we know everything we're going to get when second edition comes out. I'm curious to see what comes out later, because there'll be right now there are there's not heaps of modifications, there's not heaps of talents. And in a way that's good, because first edition was a bit bloated. But also I'm sort of wondering, how am I going to customize the ships? What am I going to put on there? So in the future, more things will come out, and there'll be more to choose from, and that's interesting to that'll be
speculate
interesting to see,
on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new couple of the Clone Wars. I think we talked about it before, and I was like, he doesn't need it. I'm just interested to see the ships. I just want the ship that's the Troop Deliverer, because I love that ship. Yeah, that's a cool ship.
Yeah.
Mike?
Do you know what? This is going to sound strange, but you know what I really like? I always like that experience of when you buy the blister pack or whatever it is, and you open it up and you go, what's in here? All the little cards and the tokens and the goodies, and then you sort of put your ship on the base and all that kind of stuff. So I actually used to kind of... So I'm actually going to enjoy converting my fleet to 2.0 and then taking out a whole lot of things which I've either not flown for a very long time or actually didn't really fly. I'm looking at you, Punisher.
All right, real talk. What are you doing with your old stuff?
I have already put it in a box.
And what are you doing with the box?
It's in a drawer in my desk. Because, look, I probably won't play first edition again, but it's still a game that you can play. I've still got the cards and everything, so like I saw a picture on Reddit, someone had made a big bonfire and had taken a photo of all their stuff burning, and I just thought, like, it's still a game. Like, you can still play it if you want. Like, maybe, a year from now, there'll be game stores going, hey, come and play a game of first edition as like a retro thing.
A retro thing? Oh, what an age we live in.
But look, my point is...
X-Wing nostalgia.
Like, it's still... I just don't see a reason to chuck it out. Certainly not yet.
Yeah.
Look, I will prune my stuff, but I will hang on to a number of things which I enjoyed, especially I did pick up some prize cards. I'm going to keep those.
Absolutely.
My favourite prize... my Vader and Suntir Fell prize cards, I fought hard for them, and they're my pride and joy. I always enjoy getting
Disco
those out.
Vader?
Disco Vader.
I was there when you won that.
Yeah,
you came
know.
second, didn't you?
That was a hard fight.
Yeah, you came. I think you went against one of the top people in Australia.
Yes, and they were flying a double ghost list.
I remember that, and you beat them, and I was like, oh, Mike, you deserve this.
Yeah,
Disco Vader.
Yeah. That was one of my prouder X-Wing moments. I'll probably laminate and mount my Countess Ryad card.
Laminated.
You're going to have to, because it's white and frayed around the edges because he's used it so many times.
Yeah, just reading the rules.
I just had a meme image of Mike in place of Wolverine on the bed.
Oh, on the bed with that bed.
Yeah, and it just Countess Ryad.
But she also because she took me to victory at PAX, so that's probably that's my proudest moment there. But
see, like my bay is Palob, and he honestly he's changed a little bit. He hasn't changed a whole lot.
No, he's probably better. The Hawk.
The Hawk's way better now.
Is that the thing you're looking forward to?
Oh, I'm gonna fly that so hard at PAX.
If we're talking about things we're gonna miss, I think the fact that Jansen isn't coming into second edition doesn't get enough attention. Like, his ability would be even more powerful in second edition.
Is that why?
Probably it would apply to reinforce tokens and calculate tokens. Like, they've got all these extra X-Wing pilots but no space for Wes? No, we couldn't
future releases maybe.
When they re-release the X-Wing again.
Yeah, I mean,
Edition 3.
All right. How many X-Wing packets is the X-Wing been in?
The X-Wing was in the blister pack, the core set, Swords Renegades, and the evacuation shuttle, the first epic ship. So
there's 4 and plus T-70s.
All right, and if you're including T-70s, then another core set.
Heroes of Resistance.
So 7.
Oh yes. So good. And there's going to be an 8th one coming out soon, and then a 9th one because it's coming in a blister. Is it coming in a blister pack?
The T-70?
Yeah.
But it's not coming in a second edition core set. There is the second...
Oh, no, of course not.
Oh, well, the T-65 is.
Yeah.
So that would be 9 ways of getting an X-Wing. But they're separate factions now.
This is true.
So I'm curious to know, just offhand, what's going to happen to all this 1.0 stock sitting out there?
Well, that's
because Markdown be like, go buy a fleet.
Yeah, because the only way to get second edition stuff that isn't scheduled releases is going to be to buy an old blister pack and a conversion kit. Yeah. So I reckon the secondary market is going to explode from a while after this. You're going to see people on eBay being like, okay, I'm selling an old E-Wing and the tiles from a Rebel conversion kit, and this is going to cost you X amount. Just for instance, I'm not saying that because I actually want someone to sell me an old E-Wing.
And look, I can imagine there'll still be people who will...
Yeah, I do.
Also, there's a large...
Do you have one?
Yeah. Of course I have. I was a Rebel player before I turned to the grey side.
Anyway, sorry, Mike, what were you saying?
I can't remember.
A mate of mine, Andrew... He listens to the show sometimes, maybe.
Yeah. Hi, Andrew.
He's really excited for 2.0 because he doesn't play X-Wing a whole lot. He loves the models. He's really excited for 2.0 because he finally got to buy epic ships because they're at 80% markdown.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it's going to take Epic to get supported in second edition.
I do not think it will.
No, they'll have to.
No, I really don't think so.
Selling a conversion kit for the epic ships would be easy.
You don't need to, really, because they have a different... They have a different movement template, a different kind of...
I just don't see them... I just don't see it as being a financial... Not a risk. I just don't see them doing it because no one played Epic or... sorry.
No, it's true, unfortunately. I love Epic, but it's hard to get people to play it.
Yeah, no one has a chance to play it. I wish... I never played it.
Yeah.
I've played hundreds of games. I've never played Epic. I would love to.
Yeah.
But, the ships are coming out. There's nothing real... I just don't see a particular market for it.
I understand what you're saying, but I feel like they wouldn't just let something atrophy that way. Like, it would definitely be low on their priority list, but I don't think they'll just ditch it completely, because if people are getting into second edition and they've never played X-Wing before, they won't have first edition ships to fly with the Epic ships. And if people are getting rid of their 1.0 stuff to get 2.0 stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So unless...
Because it's a pity, because some of the funnest games I've had have been the Epic games I've played.
Because they go for 3 hours,
you just
have a laugh.
Yeah, and it's a social experience, and it's a lot of fun. So, I don't think it'll happen. Epic has never had any of the prize support or organised play or anything like that. There's nothing there to support it. So, I don't see that happening, because FFG organised play is already supporting so many different games and different game modes, and the 100 by 100, the 100 3x3 X-Wing is kind of...
the only thing I could potentially see them doing, and this is just as a giant middle finger, is to remember they did the Star Destroyer recently for Armada?
Yeah.
That's like 2 feet long.
Yeah.
I just want to buy it. On the shelf.
It's more than that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's huge. It's almost a meter or something ridiculous.
What, really?
Yeah.
No. I just imagine them doing something slightly bigger for X-Wing, but just on a smaller ship. So it would be like, I don't know, just what's the regular ones?
Hang on, a ship for X-Wing that was inappropriately long for the base size. They called that the TIE Silencer.
So there's precedent. What else?
I'm looking forward to, I think we're going to see, a lot of people I've spoke to said they're waiting for second edition to come back. So I'm looking forward to that influx of returning or new players.
Oh, new players.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
there's going to be so many.
And I think, I do think it will rejuvenate the game and the community a bit, because I think people have been burnt out for some time, and also the knowledge that 2.0 is coming, so people are kind of taking a bit of an X-Wing holiday. And I'm looking forward to the fact, everything that I've seen in terms of our analysis, the videos, the conversations, everything, it seems to me like it's a game that's going back to kind of its more traditional dogfighting roots in many ways. That's what as I said at the top of the show, that's why I do it. That's what I really enjoy about it. I mean, also the Star Wars aspect to it.
Are you going to find second edition friends, Mike? Are we going to be replaced?
Oh, yeah, I'm already starting up another podcast.
This one called Heck of a Pilot,
Yeah,
so you won't get in trouble.
That's right. There's no trademark infringement.
If our show was called Heck of a Pilot, we'd be able to post about it on the X-Wing forum.
That's why I'm doing it. Anyway, Bob, Roger, just keep that on the down low until we launch.
I honestly, I think we just spoke about the new people, but I'm looking forward to meeting new people, and because people just get in a scene, and that's just sort of them. It's like the X-Wing scene for Melbourne, the X-Wing scene for Australia, and I'm just looking forward to having new people and welcoming a bigger community.
Yeah, and look, I think at the top, I think the thing is, and you know what, actually, when I think about the retrospective, is, and I'm going to get a little bit teary and sentimental here, but you know what, this game, for me, personally, has given me a lot. I think in terms of community and friendships, this show, the opportunity at PAX, all that kind of stuff. I think, I
completely agree.
Yeah, I think it's also been a wonderful, supportive community. Coming
down from, Brisbane
to
Melbourne, I didn't have any mates. I had a mate.
Yeah.
And without getting, too personal, I went through a divorce.
Yep.
And I wouldn't say X-Wing kept me through it, but like the people I met became friends, and those friends supported me through it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to. Just a bigger community and that goodness.
Yeah. Well, it's the same as you guys. Like it's not easy to make friends in your sort of mid-20s, because especially if you're not going
40s.
in your mind, Michael, in your mind.
In my mind, I'm still 12.
but yeah, like and especially because I didn't go to university, so I wasn't meeting a lot of people, and started playing this game, and it was like, well, I've got to actually, if I'm going to play it, I've got to actually get out there, and then I got a Facebook message one day from this guy called Mike that was like, so you play it.
What type of name is Mike?
Yeah.
But
he kind of looks like a punk. I'm a bit scared by him.
Tight shirt, bald head.
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah. So it's good. It's a good way to get out there. It's just to play this game,
All right, we should go on before. Go on. Sorry.
I was going to say, I actually, sort of again being sentimental, I still vividly remember the very first time I actually met both you guys, Owen. We met it in that store in Melbourne, and you came in, and I remember you were flying 4 X-Wings.
Yes.
And the way that you set up your board, you took, to put down your asteroids, you took 3 rocks and you just threw them up in the air and they landed.
Before I realised there was tactics involved in putting down rocks, yeah.
But you beat me, so you're right.
Yeah, 4 X-Wings.
Out of the gate, you have always been an excellent player, and I think, Lachlan, what I remember is, like, the first time we played, I flew a TIE Defender and 4 TIEs against you.
Yeah, and I don't remember what I had. I just remember what you had.
Yeah, and I think I just remember that was good. So anyway, that's
let's wrap this up before any more. Oh, okay, here we go.
What is your proudest first edition moment?
Okay,
individual moment?
beating someone who had 3 green dice defense with Paylob after Paylob had been. You know how he has 1 red attack?
Yeah, the Hawk.
Yeah, had 1 red. Yeah, he had 0 because he got crit. So beating a 3 green defense dice because he rolled into range 1, I survived his hits and he didn't survive my 1.
That is outrageous.
Yeah, it happened. It actually, and like that's why I can't put him down. He's my favorite from now on. From then on, Mike.
Oh, I think, Countess Riyadh winning at PAX, I had to fight 2 Fen Raos and the Talonbane Cobra.
Oh yeah, I remember that. that was a Talonbane Cobra heavy day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a Talonbane Cobra with stealth device and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah.
It was, and all players were excellent. Like every game could have gone either way. So it was one of those things where a bit of luck, a bit of that type of thing. And also, I think actually one of the other things is a game I lost in a league, where it was me versus another guy. I was flying Whisper, he was flying Suntir Fell, and it was like a 45-minute dogfight. And cool. I lost it, but it was one of the most enjoyable games I've ever had. Yep.
I think my favourite individual moment was in flying one of my jank lists, which long-time listeners might remember, the one that I called the Malty Crow.
Oh, yeah.
So, basically, the short version is it combines Wolf Warrow and Jan Ors.
Yep. So
you get a damaged Wolf Warrow plus 1 shot from Jan. So at range 1, so like 6 dice and 1-shotted a full health Poe Dameron off the board.
Oh, brutal.
Just got into range 1 of just the stars aligned, and Wolf Warrow just went, just slapped him off.
Everybody ripped off both these exit wings.
So that was...
Never make a Wookiee
cool.
angry.
Yeah, that one,
that's
that
cool.
was pretty good.
All right, let's move on to lore.
To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not simply their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art.
We are going to be adults about this topic.
Oh, so you've got kids in the car.
If you've got kids in the car, they're going to get some real talk.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate, because one of the people, I'll mention it now instead of at the end, but one of the people I was going to shout out to...
says thanks for being family friendly.
No, well,
Whoops.
well, sort of. But Edie Hunt, who is 9, listens with Chris, her dad. So,
all right, Edie Hunt.
Sorry,
Listen.
Chris. This had to be the one with.
This is the one you get both a shout out and your life changed forever. Okay, so in the amazing universe that is Star Wars, there's of course all the things, but like, let's be serious. There's some pretty dark things in Star Wars, like, you know, weapons and all that. And they're pretty common, but drugs are a thing. And they're mentioned as early as Episode 4, within the first 10 minutes. I think C-3PO makes the first mention of spice.
We smashed the spice mines of Kessel.
Is that what she said?
Why did I say Kettle? That's wrong. Kessel.
Yeah.
But continuing on Spice Mines of Kettle, the next time is...
You did it.
Damn it! The next time it's mentioned, which I think is absolutely hilarious, because this point was pointed out to me today, that when Uncle Owen, the glorious name he is, said...
Oh, I see that now.
Uncle isn't his name.
Yeah, damn! When Uncle Owen said to Luke, and Luke's like, hey, what happened to my father? And he's like, he died in the war, the Clone Wars, running a spice freighter. And it's like, well, thanks, Uncle Owen. Not only did you just tell Luke Skywalker that his dad died in a frivolous war that ended in a fascist regime, he died hauling drugs. Good parenting. Well done. So there is the main part of... Well, we'll start with the illegal drugs. Mostly known as spice, there is over 50 variations of them, and do not worry, I am not going to go through all of them. I'll go over some of them. But the most famous one is either real or glitter stim. And we'll start with the famous one because it's in the game. Glitter stim. Glitter stim heightens your awareness. It's addictive and also gives you very base psychic powers for a very small amount of time.
Okay, hang on. What year was Dune written? Like,
it's 100% been ripped off from Dune.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. Yeah. It is because so Dune was
Gesserit and all that.
1967, if I recall correctly. So this is less than, and Dune was a huge.
It's
influence
one of
on
the
science
main.
fiction.
It's the main influences.
Yeah, I'd say
have
so.
I
Star Wars.
just really jumped ahead in something you were going to leave to?
No, that's I was. That is what it is. You know, it was basically ripped off of Dune because it was a very famous franchise and people understood what spice was at the time.
Yeah. Part of me wonders whether the whole navigator and a spice freighter line, like they possibly hadn't decided what that meant at the time. They just wanted him to say it because it sounded like science fiction jargon.
It probably was.
Yeah, but look, you have to also remember that actually Dune did have an influence because of when you think about it, Arrakis was the desert planet. Where did Luke Skywalker grow up?
Yeah,
on a desert planet.
The Fremen had to hoard any kind of water they could.
They had to be, and what
and
did
moisture farming. It's a pretty obvious that Dune was a huge
You say Dune, I
influence.
say June.
Tomato.
Yeah.
So the famous one is glitter stim, and it's mined in a few places, but mostly mined in Kessel. Kessel is famous for its glitter stim place, which it was originally used as a medicinal drug because it would, pep you up, and just like heroin in our days and cocaine in our days.
Well, that's how a lot of those substances were actually medical.
Yeah, they were.
It's all over the counter.
Didn't Sigmund Freud prescribe cocaine for people who had heroin addictions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking too much of the bad stuff. I've discovered this perfectly safe new thing.
You got to get in that good stuff.
Say hello to my little friend.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola actually had
Was
cocaine in
cocaine.
it. Yes.
What a great time to live in. I say that ironically. It was horrible.
I have chewed coca leaves. That is deeply unpleasant.
Okay.
It doesn't make you hallucinate. It just helps with altitude.
Yeah,
It also tastes like misery.
Yeah. There's a marketing slogan.
Coca leaves. Tastes like misery. This episode has gone off the rails.
Sorry.
Let's get it back on track. So,
Okay, sorry.
they're mined on Kessel. It was originally as a medicinal purpose. It's been mined by mostly slave labor. You were sent to Kessel as a death sentence. You were there to die. I'm sorry. It was Mined not from the rocks, not from the poppies, but by spiders.
Whoa!
Yeah, spider webs. They are these giant energy spiders, I'll have you know. Spiders.
And they secreted...
Yes.
Really?
And they secreted a very thin web that was so thin it was sharp that you could lose your fingers to it if you didn't see it. Next part of it, this whole thing is ridiculous. It's like some sort of Orwellian... No, it's not Orwellian at all. To a degree. Just some nightmare. So that you... Not only could these things like cut your fingers off super easily, you couldn't go get it.
Yeah.
It was on a planet that had no atmosphere. Mm-hmm. So you'd have to wear, breathing mask and all that stuff. You also couldn't see, because the arachnids were susceptible to light. It also ruined the glitter stim.
Yeah.
So because light activates the glitter stim, so you take it, when you take it, you give it some light and in she goes. But you would ruin the glitter stim, so they had to do everything in this like red light that you can't see with very well. Also, the spiders are attracted to light because they're energy spiders. They absorb any form of energy, including a light beam.
Okay.
Human life.
Okay.
Alien life. They are especially fond of Wookiee life. So it was mined in this horrible place by these horrible spiders.
Ooh, I just looked up these spiders. These things are nasty.
Yeah, they're crazy big. Also, they kill you in a second.
It's a spider made of knives.
It is. Yeah, it absolutely is a spider made of knives.
I quite like. So Owen and I were talking at the end of last recording. We were walking out. Yeah, I actually knew about the spiders as well, and Owen had said, "Oh, I was thinking about maybe talking about glitterstim next time." And I asked him, "Do you know where glitterstim comes from?" He goes, "No." I've gone, "Spiders." And you should have seen your face. You're like, "What?"
It's one of those glorious moments of, this is my life. This is my fandom. Mind over there, got the spice, take that, it gives you mild hallucinate, it doesn't really hallucinate you get super focused, you get super hyped up, it's essentially cocaine, but also makes you psychic. There was a whole big bit about, I'll tell you some more about this in a second.
Yeah.
There's a whole big bit about, is it actually psychic or are you just hallucinating?
Yeah.
And that was done by Corin Horn. Corin Horn questioned that. And Han Solo walks in and is like, "Oh boy, don't you worry. It's not hallucinations." And you're like, how do you know this?
Well, what did he do? He was a smuggler.
He was a smuggler. He was a spice smuggler and a spice user.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't be surprising, but yeah, he's a drug taker. He helped in one of the extended comics, extended universe things. He helped one of his friends who was in this cult. And he made her take some spice, so he's here, take this drug. And then she could read the minds of these cult leaders, and these cult leaders' minds were like, none of this stuff is real. Absolutely none of it.
Yeah, that was what I was telling you about in the Han Solo lore section. Yeah.
Yes, so she could read minds, and terrible. Next thing, Lando Calrissian, 9 years after the Battle of Endor, took over the spice mine. And in his graciousness, they're not slaves anymore, they're just employees. But don't worry, he kept the drug trade flowing.
Spice must flow.
Spice must flow. And if Lando Calrissian can't do it, no one can. Also, Nien Nunb got in on that action, and he was like the leader.
I like him even more.
Yeah, that was a
so
thing.
I can see Lando and Nien Nunb, just after they've blown up the Death Star.
Cocaine barons.
They're just like, so what are you doing after the rebellion?
I know, I was thought about going into business.
And Nien Numb's like,
Nien Nunb can actually speak perfect English until he's on the stim.
Plot twist, he's actually completely fluent. He's just really high all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
That explains his maniacal laughter.
That explains the dribbling.
Yeah.
So let's move on to aside from those the main drug, there's also things like death sticks. They're like mild hallucinogens that are highly addictive and that just reduce your life. And they apparently it just reduces your lifespan. It's like great. That's why they're called death sticks.
Yeah, I remember there was that scene in was it episode 2?
Episode 2. You don't want to sell me some death sticks. I don't want to sell you some death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life. So great. That's a great scene.
But here's the thing, though. How do we know that guy didn't go home, genuinely think about his life again, and come to the decision, no, this is actually the job for me. I'm coming back tomorrow to sell death sticks again.
I'm going to try hard this time.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a real killing out of this. These death sticks are...
No pun
death sticks were a thing. There were a bunch of other stuff that could... like reduce your inhibitions. There was a drug that just made you very complacent and compliant to people. That was the drug that they were stuck into Leia. Well, they were going to stick into Leia. Did they ever? No, they never showed it on screen, but no. Anyway, there was also a drug that a lot of pilots used, or at least they kept with them in their ships. I can't remember what it was called, but it basically reduced your hunger to nothing. You just were no longer hungry, and you just didn't need food. You got really complacent. You were just kind of blah. But sometimes you just need to wait it out until someone picks you up, and nothing better than just not a stimulant, a depressant that would just knock out your hunger. There's other drugs that would increase your force ability. So and one last one, which was a purple slime that was scraped off the back of lizards, and you would rub under your neck, and it would stop you from sleeping for as long as you wanted to. There was no side effects to this, except for a purple stain under your neck, and you would also increase your life by 1/3. So yeah,
because we spend
no,
a third of our lives asleep.
No, I don't think so. I think it actually just increases your lifespan.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that was a thing.
Really tired for a lot of it.
No, you're not tired at all. You're just perfectly fine. It's really weird. But yeah, it's a thing from a lizard, back of a lizard. Moving on to medicinal purposes. Really, there's only one, and that is Bacta. There was a similar variant to Bacta before Bacta was invented, and apparently it's both incredibly good and everywhere. So it's not hard to produce, and it's just a fantastic form of medication. It could heal almost any wound and any sickness. And the Bacta tanks that everyone's is famous for, they were quite rare. Basically, hospitals.
Really?
Yeah, basically hospitals had them. Capital ships had them, and bases had them. You wouldn't find them on small ships. You wouldn't find them in many places. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what that was a big deal to be in a back tank. Like you need to be dying.
Oh, so yeah, they're like really serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are like Bacta patches and stuff, which I think is one of the cooler things. I think I saw in the Clone Wars. Yeah. Someone gets hit by a thing, and they just slap on this like bandage, this blue bandage. It's like, that's Bacta. I was like, sure. It could also be injected into you. You can also just drink it, basically.
So why? Oh, I suppose you still need to breathe, don't you? Because when you're floating in a Bacta tank, you've always got the breathing apparatus.
Yeah, it's still a liquid, and you will still drown.
Yeah.
Not to say you couldn't put it on your lungs and try a bit of it without drowning. But yeah, it was a miracle drug, and then there was another form of it beforehand that was almost as good, but it was reasonably rare and very expensive. And then as soon as Bacta came out, I was like, no, that other drug doesn't exist anymore.
The Bacta tank scene in Rogue One is kind of fascinating. And
I was actually just thinking that too. I think that was really interesting. Darth Vader floating in there, without his armor or limbs or anything like that.
You see what little of him there is.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been reading the most recent Darth Vader Marvel comic book series.
Great series.
I need to read that.
I'm not not super impressed by the art in it, but the story's good. But yeah, there's a bit where he's floating in the tank, kind of Rogue One style, and it just kind of focuses on his eyes. Like it's interesting. He's kind of having this one-way conversation with Palpatine. Like Palpatine will ask him a question, then there's a frame that you just see his face floating in the tank, and Palpatine continues on the conversation. You don't see Vader's side of it because he's communicating purely telepathically from the Bacta tank. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That was a reasonably large controversy. Not reasonably large. I mean, everything's a large controversy in fandoms.
Yeah.
That Vader could exist in the new canon without his suit. There was for quite a long time. It was like he could not leave his suit ever.
That was my understanding.
Yeah.
There was... I'm trying to remember what it's from. I think it might be Shadows of the Empire. There's a scene where Vader is in that pod. You know, the
meditation...
Without his helmet. The meditation
pod,
chamber from Empire Strikes Back. And he concentrates the force in his lungs as much as he possibly can.
Yeah.
You know, focuses all the dark side, all the rage on his body, and it actually heals it a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Then he takes like this tiny little breath unaided by the machines, and all of a sudden this like lightness would flood into his body because he was filled with joy and optimism because his body was maybe healing.
Yeah.
And then because he was using the dark side to make that work, the slight bit of positivity nullified the darkness, and then it stopped healing.
Yeah.
So it stopped working, and he couldn't breathe anymore.
Oh, no.
So he could just get himself to the point of breathing, and then the method of getting there cancelled out the method of getting there, and he went backwards.
Which is fascinating. And the other thing, I mean, the suit was constructed to be deliberately painful.
Yeah.
As well.
That was horrible. I mean, like, it's such a great way to make sure someone's angry all the time. Just continuously put them in pain. The only way they can move and be functional is to be in pain
the whole time.
But that's Legends, though, isn't it?
That's Legends.
Yeah.
No, new canon.
New canon as well.
Take off my stuff.
Yeah, well, in new canon, he was permitted to customize the suit afterwards. The way Palpatine keeps him angry in current canon is basically just, I'm going to tell everyone in the galaxy that you exist and you're really bad and they should hate you and try to kill you. Therefore, I'm going to fill the galaxy with scores of enemies for you to destroy.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of the Robot Chicken scene where Palpatine says, you know, stop being a whiny so-and-so. I'll tell everyone about Panda Bear or Panda whatever, you know. I love
Turkey Club, I guess. I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, Palpatine. What the hell's an aluminum falcon? Anyway.
I love you too.
But actually, you know what makes me think, like you're talking about with this one, actually, one of my favourite legacy comic books is the old EU, the series is actually called Legacy. And it stars a guy called Cade Skywalker, who's like the grandson of Luke Skywalker.
I heard about this one.
It's brilliant. I love it because basically he starts off, it's like after there's a new Sith Empire and a new Sith Emperor and this massive galactic war, but it starts off with Cade Skywalker being kind of like a smuggler bounty hunter who is addicted to death sticks. And he has this, and this is how he kills his, connection to the Force, and his need to sort of like, this is how he deals with his tragedy. So it's actually it's a great character and a great story and everything like that. So,
all right. Any other questions about drugs?
What do you suppose would happen if a Jedi ingested glitter stem?
Their powers get increased for a very brief amount of time. Doesn't stop them from being addicted. Yeah, it is what it is. I think there's a couple of moments in different parts of history and parts of lore where a Jedi does take glitter stem, and it's like, whoa, I have power. Also, there are bugs under my skin.
Spiders.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. But, so, no, I thought I had a question, but I didn't.
Cool. That was awesome.
All right, great. Let's
glitter stem not in second edition as far as we know yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Is it in lore? Is it in
canon? It's always Is
it in canon? Like current canon?
Potentially. I mean, I hope it is because even though drugs are definitely bad, I think glitter stem is my favorite fictional drug name.
Yeah.
It just sounds good. Glitter stem.
There's another drug called Real or Rel.
Yeah, it's in canon.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
There's another drug called Rel that they used to give to the spiders to turn them into giant spiders. Mm-hmm. And then it was called Glitterel. And they basically just supersized the drug.
Like, bigger spiders make more...
Yeah, make more glitter, they're more different. And also these spiders have been ingesting drugs. So
the spiders make the spider webs. Somebody goes in and takes the spider webs. The spider webs then turn into glitter stim.
No, the spider webs themselves are glitter stim.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you don't have to refine it or do anything.
No, not really. I think there's a very brief period of refining and they have to like crush it down and all that.
Okay. And so these spiders are in a couple of places, but most famously Kessel. Does somebody own Kessel?
The Imperial.
Okay.
The Imperial did, because it was the they were going to send you to the spice mines.
Yeah.
And that's the Kessel run was famous because you have to, if you wanted to smuggle the drugs that the government was making, you need to get in, get out, dodge a bunch of black holes, also an Imperial blockade.
So it's the equivalent of flying up cannabis from Mexico into America.
Yeah, except with black holes.
With black holes, yeah. Perfect analogy.
And yeah, that's how in Legends, that's why Han Solo is so famous. Because he...
ditching glitter stim.
Well, he made the Kessel run in the smallest amount of time.
Yeah.
But, do you happen to know why these things were called spice?
I think just because it looked like spice. It looked like a spice. So I remember there was something called Giggle.
And also because Lucas ripped off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frank
Herbert, yeah.
There was something called Glitter Spice. I thought, no, it's not Glitter Spice. Giggle Spice that just made you reasonably euphoric and laugh at everything. There was also a spice that I swear was incredibly ripped off June. It just made food taste better.
Yeah, that was.
And then if you refined it, it just got even better.
Hang on, sorry. Like you can't really say that that's ripped off from June. I'm pretty sure in real life, if you put spice in food, it makes the food taste better. Like that's a proven concept. Like the trade routes.
Yes,
were based around spice. Yeah.
Because of spice trading. Yeah.
Lucas calls it spice. We call it salt.
Yeah.
And in some circles, the X-wing meta.
Yes.
All right. Let's end this show.
Stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
It's the end of the night, and like we always do, we'll do some shout-outs to our lovely listeners. New YouTube subscribers, because we have a YouTube. Ron Orsua.
Yeah.
Also,
because Ron's been a follower of our Facebook page for a really long time, and just newly come to YouTube. I think he said the surname is pronounced Orsua, Ron Orsua.
Hi, Ron. And Death by Chinchillas. I can say that one.
Yes. What a horrible way to go.
But also adorable.
I know. We have new Podbean followers we wish to say a big hello to. So, Phantom Rider 2112. Did you get that? Check. That's the pass. That's the code word. Phantom Rider 2122. Now go activate. Inland Empire Aces. God damn, I love these Podbean names.
Yeah, they're great, aren't they? They really are cool.
EO Toward. Stars Gyms.
No, it's Star VR, so it's Star Viper Gyms.
Star Viper Gyms. Thank you very much. Daniel Brazil, 1990. I think that's his name and his birthday. I'm just guessing. RHRDMH. Iron Monkey, who's not a follower but gets a shout out for being called Iron Monkey.
Holger Daniel listened to our 37th episode where we mentioned Ketsu Ono and said he'd been in various atrocities but couldn't be more specific, and asked if he had seen the Black Sun logo on her helmet and suggested we probably should have something to do with it.
I agree.
Yep, probably. Ketsu Ono is a pretty big bounty hunter. I don't know if it's been properly fleshed out in extended lore, but I think also the Black Sun logo is a pretty generic, hey, I am scum. And here's my logo to prove it.
Was she in the Clone Wars or
I don't think so.
Rebels.
So she was mates with Sabine, was she?
Yeah. They were mates. Yep.
Okay.
There were a couple of her friends were in Clone Wars, but not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Matthias Pospisil?
Wow. With these names tonight.
Sorry, guys.
So he commented on YouTube, said, G'day, great podcast. I normally listen to you on iTunes. I just came back from Australia. I've been there for a year as a student, and I really enjoy the show. I miss the Aussie sense of humour a little bit, but you always make me laugh. Thanks, guys. Cheers from the Czech Republic.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was nice.
That's nice.
And sounds like you enjoyed your time in Australia. So if you come back, and get to Melbourne, shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know. If you come to Melbourne, we'll play again.
Yeah. Joshua Watson described us as wacky goofballs.
Yeah.
We put the wacky in the goofball. That we do.
Wow.
What a good word for that law section that's just gone by. It's
Yeah,
like Chief
exactly.
Wiggum. Goofballs.
Goofballs, that's right, exactly. And he'd like to play some beer wing. So that actually combines two of my favourite activities, beer and X-Wing. Particularly a nice craft beer.
Okay,
porter.
here's the game. Are you ready? Because you can do shield regeneration with this one.
Okay.
Your shields, you take shots of beer, and your hull, you take shots of whiskey. So when you
Fly
when
the
you
ghost,
die,
then.
you pass out.
Fly the ghost.
Oh yeah.
You'll be paralytic. But he said, we deserve the TIE Hunter. Damn straight we do, as reward for being wacky goofballs, with whom he'd like to play some beer wings. So yes, I think...
Aforementioned beer wing.
Aforementioned, so we need the TIE Hunter, I'm just saying. I've still got those glorious models sitting on my shelf.
We can see them from here.
Yeah, I love them.
Does that mean that ships with fewer shields get drunker faster?
It could mean, it depends on the whiskey.
I want to say... Okay,
we should put that to scientific test.
And, alright, so...
Yes.
Chris, I guess we should have made a bit of a warning at the start, but Chris Hunt said that all the X-Wing podcasts he listened to, out of them, we're the one he most looks forward to. Special shout out to his daughter Edie, who listens to the show with him, flies Rebels, and is 9 years old.
Oh, that is awesome.
That's awesome.
So,
Hey.
that is fantastic. So,
Just skip that segment.
Getting your kids into like your own hobby, that's, I imagine, both very difficult and very rewarding.
Yeah, I think that's great. Awesome.
So I think it's time, since this is the very end, the very last episode of not season one. I want to say it's so bad.
Edition.
I can't say season one of Hell of a Pilot because we had season one was last year, but the very first edition of Hell of a Pilot. So we thought we'd just quickly go through all the people who are just sort of friends of us, like creators who are friends of us. And I'll start with Harry Nick. Hey,
Nick.
and Justin, his co-host, which he is not very much on the show very often, but he is always a good addition. Thanks, Harry Nick.
It's a great show.
Of Harry Gamers.
I think it's definitely the one that I watch now.
Yeah, he's very in depth, isn't he?
Yeah, it's great.
He gets right into it.
Yeah. That's where I get my news.
it's just cool.
Not from the
It's cool going onto YouTube and seeing two guys talking to each other with Australian accents. Don't see heaps of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do it as well. Yeah. And to Mars and Ian at Fly Casual, they were when I used to live pretty far west. That was their store. Was the store I went to, Tez's, and we hung out. It was a great time. And
It is a good store. I played there.
And he told me, I'm part of Fly Casual. I'm like, how did you get that name? That's so good. Anyway, yeah, and then we started this, and we got them on the show, which was fantastic. Also to Charles at Star Wars Tabletop Gaming, because he's a mate of mine, and since we used to both have Fridays off, we'd hang out and play Legion or play X-Wing, or he plays Destiny. But yeah.
Alright, and I'll shout out to Guillermo and Antonio from Northanthala Squadron.
Yes.
They're the guys who make the content in Peru, so anybody listening to this who speaks Spanish, that's where you can get your Spanish language content. And Bruno Laviar of Millennium Condor, who is in Canada but makes content in French.
And that awesome t-shirt.
Yeah, and the
Yes.
cool t-shirt that you sent us. And
Yes.
now Bruno's content is mostly in French, but I've mentioned this before. He does these quiz episodes in English. That if you search for the Millennium Condor Lawmaster quiz, then it's like trivia questions about X-Wing, and it's really funny. Part of part of the humor of it is like the questions are extremely difficult and the contestants like to mention the fact that questions are extremely difficult, and Bruno's just like, no, it's an easy question, what are you complaining about? It's like
I like it.
All right, that brings us to the end of the show.
Episode 40.
Episode 40. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Season 1 and Series 1 and other things 1 of Hell of a Pilot. Coming at you in 2 weeks' time is more Hell of a Pilot.
So episode 41, we will be...
But just edition 2.
Oh, we're gonna have all the second edition stuff and like new
I know.
expansion packs and stuff and conversion kits. Wow.
My poor wallet. All right. Good night.